15 months after the divorce, the Mafia boss thought his past was sealed behind lawyers, blood, and silence. Then his phone rang. A calm voice said, "Sir, you've been named as the father." He didn't flinch until he heard the child was hidden, watched, and in danger because of his name. Someone wanted leverage. Someone wanted him broken. And the only thing more dangerous than his enemies was his family. The night the call came, Dario Leone was sitting alone in his private study, watching the ice inside his glass melt. He preferred the silence. He'd built an empire on it, but he never trusted it. Silence meant someone, somewhere, was moving. The phone lit up. Unknown number. He nearly ignored it, until it rang again. He answered without speaking. A composed male voice, maybe late 30s, educated, cautious, filled his ear. "Mr. Leone, I'm calling from St. Mark's Legal Services. Before you respond, I need to tell you this conversation is being recorded with your consent." Dario didn't blink. No consent given. The voice faltered, then steadied. "Understood. Then I'll speak carefully. 15 months after your divorce from Alessia Mancini, you have been named as the father of a minor." Dario closed his hand around the glass, knuckles pale. He didn't look surprised, only still. Her lawyer already tried this once. The timeline didn't match. "This time isn't about money," the caller said softly. "The child is in danger." Dario stood. "Speak." "We believe someone is watching them. Your ex-wife fled her last address without warning. She has gone off-grid with the girl. The only detail she allowed us to share is that the child is yours." Dario stared at the city through his window. He thought of Alessia. Eyes like a storm, mouth too sharp for the world she married into. Their split hadn't been peaceful. It had been surgical. Lawyers, agreements, silence. Afterward, she disappeared. He didn't chase. She'd wanted to escape his life, his bloodlines, his enemies. He'd let her. "What's the child's name?" he asked. "We weren't given one. She refused. But this urgency—" The line crackled, then muted to a faint hum. The caller wasn't alone. Somewhere on their side, someone whispered. They weren't supposed to. "Move now. He'll trace." The line died. Dario lowered the phone. His heart didn't race. It never did. But something in him, not fear, never fear, shifted. He walked to his safe, keyed in a sequence only 2 people on Earth knew. The other was dead. Inside, there was nothing sentimental. Just steel, passports, keys, and a single photo, creased at the corner hidden beneath paperwork. Alessia laughing beside him on a beach before he'd told her what he actually was. Before she ran. He placed the photo back. His second phone chimed. Unknown number. This time, there was only a text. "They found us." A second message. An address. He memorized it, then watched the letters disappear as the phone auto-purged. Alessia. Always cautious. He didn't know if the child was his. He didn't know who was hunting her. But he knew this. Whoever reached them first decided the ending. Dario walked out, giving no orders. The men inside the house fell in behind him anyway. Not because he spoke, but because he never needed to. There were rules in his world, but only one mattered tonight. Blood calls. You answer. The address led to a rundown apartment block on the city's west edge, far from the gilded corners of his family name. The place was stripped of identity. No lights, no signage, no neighbors brave enough to look outside. A place for hiding or dying. Dario arrived alone. He wanted no shadows behind him, not yet. Inside, a single hallway lamp flickered. He knocked once. A latch slid. The door opened barely an inch. Alessia's eye stared back, wild, unfamiliar. "Show me your hands," she whispered. He lifted them. She unbolted the door fast and pulled him inside, locking 3 deadbolts behind her. She didn't hug him, didn't speak his name, just moved past him, checking the hallway again. The apartment was sparse, bags packed, blankets on the floor, half-eaten food, no toys, no comfort, just readiness. Dario scanned her face. 15 months had thinned her, sharpened her. She used to dress like a woman who owned sunlight. Now she wore gray, hair pinned simply, eyes scanning constantly. "You said the child is mine," he said. "She is." Alessia's voice cracked just once. "And because of you, she may die." The words didn't land like accusation. They landed like a verdict. But Dario didn't flinch. "Where is she?" "Sleeping." Alessia pointed toward a closed door. "She doesn't know who you are. I never told her. Not your name, not your world." She swallowed. "I wanted her to live." "You should have stayed close," he said quietly. She shot him a look, equal parts anger and exhaustion. "I left to survive. There's a difference." He didn't argue. "What happened?" he asked. Alessia paced. "I saw a black car outside the school 3 weeks ago. Same car, every day. Then the same man, then different men. They never approached, just watched." "Law enforcement?" She shook her head. "Too calm, too patient." Dario considered that. "My enemies?" "Your name is a target, Dario. People would kill to hurt you, or use her." He frowned. "Why reach out now?" "Because I can't protect her alone." She rubbed her arm, steadying herself. "I thought I could disappear. I thought distance was enough. But they found us." He stepped closer. "I need to see her." Alessia hesitated, something like fear crossing her face. She wasn't afraid of him. She was afraid of what seeing him would mean. But she nodded. "Quiet," she whispered. She pushed open the small bedroom door. Moonlight glowed across a tiny form curled beneath blankets. Hair dark, breathing soft. A stuffed rabbit under her arm. The only innocent thing in the apartment. Alessia whispered, "She's 5." Dario looked at the child. There was no recognition, just stillness. He didn't know what to feel. He only knew one thing. This was his. A floorboard creaked in the hall. Not theirs. Alessia grabbed his arm, eyes wide. "They're here!" And the world shifted. Dario didn't run, not even when instinct screamed. He drew a small pistol from his waistband, motioning Alessia back. She lifted the child silently. The girl stirred but didn't wake. 3 soft knocks sounded at the door. Not urgent, deliberate. Someone wanted them to know this wasn't a break-in. This was a message. "Stay behind me," Dario whispered. Alessia hugged the child and retreated down the hall. Dario stepped closer to the door, but didn't open it. A voice slipped through the wood. Polite, unhurried. "Mr. Leone, I know you are inside. I have no intention of hurting the mother or child. We only wish to deliver terms." Dario's jaw hardened. He'd heard this tone before. Mid-level negotiators sent to soften the landing before violence. He holstered his gun, not because he trusted them, but because he needed both hands free. "Your terms," he said. A business card slid under the door. Black. No name, no numbers, just a single symbol, a serpent coiled around a cradle. Dario knew it, not a group, a syndicate. Old, silent, completely off books. The voice outside continued. "You have 48 hours to surrender the girl. Raise her elsewhere and war will follow you. She is leverage, and leverage must be shared." Dario didn't answer. The man outside waited, quietly expecting a deal. After a long stretch, his voice returned, patient. "We will contact again. But understand, your enemies have already bought the silence of those nearby. The child has more value alive, for now." Footsteps retreated. Silence returned. Dario waited 10 seconds, then opened the door. The hall was empty, but on the floor, a camera lens lay crushed, the message clear. "You weren't watching." "But we were." Alessia appeared, holding the girl tight. She whispered, almost soundless, "They won't stop." "No," Dario said. "They won't. We can't stay here. We won't." He made 3 calls, none longer than 10 seconds. No names, no confirmations, only timing and coordinates. Then he turned to Alessia. "You leave with me, under guard, until we know who commands them. I don't trust your men." "You don't need to. They trust me." Alessia hesitated, then nodded. "What about her?" Dario looked at the sleeping child. "We keep her close." 20 minutes later, a nondescript SUV arrived. 2 men stepped out, loyalists from his oldest circle. They moved silently, sweeping the building before signaling clear. Alessia and the girl were ushered out through a back exit, heads low. As they drove, the child finally stirred. She blinked up at Alessia. "Mom, where are we going?" "Someplace safe," Alessia whispered. The girl studied Dario from her mother's lap, eyes curious, not afraid. "Who's he?" Alessia froze. Dario answered evenly. "A friend of your mother's." The girl nodded once and rested her head again. Alessia looked at him, grateful, resentful, terrified. None of it mattered, because behind them, 2 black cars pulled onto the road, matching speed, no lights, no hesitation. The hunt had begun. The SUV didn't slow until they reached the countryside, mist rolling off pines, distant hills swallowing the road behind them. A wooden safe house sat between trees, unmarked, invisible unless you knew where to look. Dario walked in first. Alessia followed with the girl, clutching her small hand. Inside was sparse but reinforced, steel-lined walls masked by wood, panic buttons tucked behind furniture, cameras angled outward. A safe house designed for survival, not comfort. She whispered, "How many places like this do you have?" "Fewer than I'd like," he said. One of his men, Santo, set down supplies. Another, Luca, secured the perimeter. "You trust them?" Alessia asked. "With my life," Dario said. She exhaled shakily. "Then with hers, too." The girl wandered, unsure, drawn to the window. Alessia lifted her. "No windows," she whispered. The child nodded and leaned into her. Dario watched them, an image he didn't expect to feel anything about. He'd spent his life building power partly because he assumed he'd never have a family. His father had warned him, "A man like us doesn't get homes, only territory." He forced the memory aside. "We don't have long," he said. "Someone inside my world gave information. They knew where to find you. They knew to wait." "Why now?" Alessia asked. "Someone wants a piece of my power. The child gives leverage. If I bend, my enemies rise. If I protect her, I declare war. And if you do nothing, they take her anyway." Alessia pressed a hand to her mouth. "How did my life become this?" "You married me." She looked at him, pain and truth between them. The girl tugged her sleeve. "Mom, I'm hungry." Alessia nodded. "I'll make something if there's food." "There is," Dario said. "Santo will help." As they moved toward the kitchen nook, Luca approached quietly. "We found a tracker under the SUV," he murmured. Dario's spine tightened. "Where?" "Rear axle. Professional." "They know where we are." "Yes." Dario's eyes swept the room, calculating exits, seconds, lives. If they attacked now, there would be no negotiation. Only slaughter. "Show me," he said. Outside, Luca revealed the device. No brand, no signal. Just a silent beacon. "They're patient," Luca murmured. "Could have attacked us on the road." "They're studying," Dario said. "They want to know how desperate we are." Inside, Alessia tried to make soup. Her hands trembled. The girl sat nearby, swinging her feet, unaware. Dario stepped in. "We're moving again." Alessia froze. "I thought this was safe." "It was. It's compromised." "Where now?" "Somewhere only I know." Her voice broke. "How long do we keep running?" Dario looked at the child, small, innocent, unprepared. As long as it takes. Santo reloaded. Luca sealed the front. Lights cut. Darkness fell, safer than visibility. The girl whispered, "Mommy, is it my fault?" Alessia knelt, voice breaking. "No, baby, none of this is your fault." Dario stood in the doorway, watching. He wasn't good at comfort, but he was good at one thing, keeping what was his from being taken. They moved before dawn. New vehicle, unmarked plates, rural backroads. Alessia held the girl close. Exhaustion made her sway. Dario remained focused, watching mirrors, memorizing every car behind them. By mid-morning, they reached an old warehouse near the docks. Outside, it looked abandoned. Inside, it was a fortified command node from another life. His life before Alessia. The air smelled of cold metal and old storms. Santo swept the interior. Luca activated sensors. Dario led Alessia and the girl upstairs to a room with a small cot. "Rest," he said. Alessia hesitated. "You're not telling me everything." "No." His honesty startled her. She sat slow, clutching the girl. He left them and descended into the warehouse belly, serving the call he'd avoided since midnight. His second phone rang before he dialed. A voice, smooth, pleased. "You have something of mine." Dario's blood cooled. "You mistake ownership for power." A low chuckle. "We both know the girl is leverage. You've built an empire by cutting throats. Now keep her safe without spilling one. Let's see how long your heart holds." "What do you want?" "A meeting, neutral ground." "No." "It's not a request." Dario ended the call. He wasn't negotiating with strangers who hid behind symbols. He returned upstairs. Alessia hurried toward him. "What now?" she asked. "They want a meeting." "No." Panic jumped into her voice. "They'll take her." "Not if we choose the ground." Alessia stared, understanding dawning painfully. "You're going to fight. I'm going to end it." The girl ran to Alessia, hugging her waist. "Mom, will we go home soon?" Alessia swallowed. "Soon, baby." She didn't believe it. Dario turned to leave, but stopped when small fingers tugged his sleeve. The girl looked up, eyes wide, curious. "Are you my friend?" He paused. "Yes." She smiled and ran back to the cot. Alessia watched him silently, then spoke low. "She draws pictures of shadows, people outside windows. She sees what others don't." Dario nodded. Fear sharpens children. As he prepared downstairs, Luca returned, face pale. "They found us." Dario's voice dropped. "How close?" 4 cars, forming a perimeter. "A fence?" "They're waiting." Waiting meant negotiation. Negotiation meant weakness. "They gave me 48 hours, Dario murmured. "They're impatient." He weighed options. If he brought Alessia and the girl deeper into hiding, they would never stop running. If he surrendered the girl, everything ended, including him. Only one way forward. He called Alessia down. "We're moving again," he said, "but not far." She clutched the girl. "You said this place—" "I know," he steadied his voice, "but I need you to trust me." Her eyes, ragged from fear, searched him. She nodded once. Dario led them to an underground corridor that opened into hidden tunnels. Luca stayed behind to stall the invaders, willingly, wordlessly. As they slipped into the darkness, Alessia whispered, "Will he survive?" "No," Dario said, "but he chose his place." Behind them, the warehouse doors exploded. The war had arrived. The tunnels spilled them into an old train yard, rusted tracks, dead engines, abandoned cars. Fog pressed low, muting sound, swallowing breath. Dario lifted the girl into his arms. She clung to his jacket, trembling. Alessia followed, pale. "Where now?" she whispered. "Ahead," he said. He kept moving, calculating the path. His men were thinning, enemies tightening. They needed a final place, somewhere predictable, but not weak. He chose the old church on the hill. It used to belong to his mother's family before they fled the city. No one but him remembered. They climbed the dirt road. The church stood cracked and lonely. Vines gripped its walls like memory. Dario pushed inside. Pews sat broken, air cold. Alessia settled the girl behind a pillar. "Why here?" "Because this is where people go," he said, "when they've run out of places." Alessia stared. "You were raised here." He didn't deny it. Santo secured doors. Dario placed the girl behind the altar, hidden, close. He drew 2 pistols, placed one on the wood, the other at his back. Alessia's voice shook. "If they take her—" "They won't." Headlights flared through stained glass, broken colors splashing the floor. Engines died, doors slammed, footsteps, measured, confident. The same smooth voice from the warehouse echoed, "Mr. Leone, we appreciate your punctuality." Dario didn't respond. A man stepped into the light, tall, composed, gloved hands folded. Not a fighter, a messenger. "The child," he continued, "is a miracle. Born from 2 worlds, one seeking power, one seeking escape. We can raise her, protect her, teach her what you never could." "You mean own her," Dario said. The messenger smiled. "With ownership comes safety." Dario stepped forward. "You made one mistake." "Oh? You threatened what's mine." Silence tightened. Santo raised his weapon. The messenger lifted a hand. "We didn't come alone." Shadows moved behind him, armed silhouettes filling the doorway. Alessia gasped and pulled the girl close. The messenger's voice softened, almost kind. "She's more valuable than both of you. Alive, she is worth more than any empire you've built. Dead, she is only a loss." Dario stared into the man's eyes, searching. These weren't rivals, they were harvesters. "I'll give you a deal," Dario said. The messenger tilted his head. "I'm listening. You walk away, leave her out of this. No retaliation, no pursuit. You disappear." The messenger blinked, surprised. Then he laughed. "You have nothing to bargain with." Dario exhaled slowly. "You're right." He flicked his wrist. Santo's bullet tore through the first shadow. Chaos erupted. Gunfire cracked against stone. Glass shattered. Bodies fell. Alessia shielded the girl, crawling toward the altar. Dario grabbed the messenger, slamming him against a pillar. "Who sent you?" he hissed. The messenger choked. "You think this ends here? She's marked. She will never be free." Dario twisted. Bones snapped. Outside, headlights scattered, reinforcements arriving. Santo staggered, bleeding. "We can't hold them." Dario knelt before the girl, eyes sharp. "You listen to me," he said. "You are not leverage. You are not theirs. You are mine." She whispered, "What if they take me?" "They won't." He lifted her, turned to Alessia. "Run. Back tunnels, straight to the cliffs. Boat is waiting." Alessia froze. "You're coming." "No." Her eyes filled. "Dario." He pressed the gun into her hand. "Protect her. If anyone stops you, kill them." Alessia sobbed but nodded. He kissed the girl's hair once. Soft, unfamiliar. Then he stood, walking toward the door where shadows gathered. Santo looked at him, bleeding, weak. "Last stand," he whispered. Dario nodded. "For blood," Santo rasped. "For family," Dario answered. They stepped into the open, facing headlights, muzzle flashes, death. And the only thing louder than gunfire was the world refusing to let him go. To protect her, he would burn everything.